Today we're talking about 3 reasons why your business is not a family. That's right, you heard it here, folks. Your business is not a family. I know what you're thinking. We should all be sitting around, holding hands, singing Kumbaya, telling each other how much we love one another. That's not the way business works, and that's not the way successful businesses work. You should feel great about where you work, but the people you work with aren't your family, and here are 3 reasons why. The first reason is your business is focused on results. Your business is focused on outcomes. Your business is focused on getting a specific thing done for a client for a fee. A family is focused on taking care of one another and loving one another and enjoying each other's company. When you're at work, you're there to produce an outcome for your shareholders, you're there to produce an outcome for your clients, and you're there to create a great work environment for the people with whom you work, but that's third. So the order of operations in the business is the shareholders of the business come first. I know you've heard your entire life that the customer comes first. Well, you require the customer, and the customer must be happy. The customer must feel like your service and your products are remarkable. But the reason your customer must feel like your products and your service are remarkable is so that the business produces a profit. The purpose of any business is to produce profit and enrich the shareholders. That's the reason a business exists. Never forget that. The second reason for you to be part of a business is to serve the clients, and you enrich the shareholders by providing the best service and the best quality products to the clients. And then third comes the employees. The employees must feel like they are well taken care of. They must feel like they are the most important part of the process of taking care of the clients so the clients can produce a profit for the business. Without the profit, the business does not exist. And if the business does not exist, there cannot be any employees. So a business is not a family because a business is focused on results and outcomes. And that's just the way it is. You don't have to like it. You just have to accept it because it's a fact. You are in business to make money. If you own the business, you're in business to make money for yourself. The third thing about a business that makes it different from a family is that you can leave it behind at the end of the day. When you walk out of the business is secondary to the people who are most important to you in your life. And that's your family, your spouse, your children, your brothers and sisters, your parents, the people whose blood courses through your veins, your friends, the people who you care most about. When you leave the business, that business stays behind and those people come first. In your life, your people always come first. Your family, your friends, they always come first. In your business, the profit comes first, but your business is second to the people who are the most important to you in your life. You can leave your business behind. So those 3 reasons again, the 3 reasons why your business is not a family. Number 1, you're focused on results. You're focused on getting the results for the shareholders, getting the results for the clients, and then taking care of the employees is third. Number 2, you make money. You're there to make money. That's the difference between a business and a family. A family exists to take care of each other. A business exists to make money for the shareholders. That's why the business exists. And then reason number 3, you leave your business behind at the end of the day. You never leave your family behind. Your family's always with you. Your family's always the most important person in the world to you. Your business is not a family. Don't let anybody tell you your business is a family. You can have best friends at work, and you should have best friends at work. You can care, and you should care about the people with whom you work, but it's not a family. Segment number 2 for today. What's the difference between leadership and management? What is the difference between leadership and management? I get this question all the time. Leading is about guiding, directing, mentoring, and teaching people. Managing is about systems and processes and administrative tasks. Leaders have to educate, they have to motivate, and their words have to resonate with the employees. Leaders must be empathetic. They must listen. They must respond. They must help people see the big picture. Leading is a highly emotional activity. It's interpersonal. It requires deep relationships. It requires someone who has the ability to connect with other people and to motivate, to educate, and whose words will resonate. Management requires systems and processes. It requires detail orientation. It requires an administrative focus. You have to be able to create simple processes from complex tasks. You have to be able to produce an outcome using multiple activities, multiple people. This is not the easiest thing to do, but it is all about systems and processes. Management is about systems and processes. Leadership is about people. Now, everyone has the ability to be a leader. Leadership can be universal or leadership can be situational. Sometimes you'll be in an environment where you're more comfortable leading than other times. Sometimes circumstances will thrust someone who's an unlikely leader into a spot where they have to assume a leadership role. Sometimes people will not have enough confidence to step forward and pick up the mantle of leadership, and other times they will. So leadership is very emotional and it's very personal. Management can be very clinical and it can be very analytical and it's very, very detail oriented. And management can be something that is done by more than one person, whereas leadership, depending on the situation, almost always requires at least one person to step up and go to the head of the group for a time period. So management is about systems and processes. Leadership is about people. Now, everyone has their own style. And style is important from a leadership perspective because people need to connect with you, and sometimes certain styles will work better with certain people. So, for example, a person who's very thoughtful and introspective and listens very well might be appropriate for a cerebral group, like an engineering group, whereas somebody who's very gregarious and outgoing and demonstrative might be more effective with a highly competitive, outgoing sales organization. So style, personal style, and personality are important, and it's important to match style and personality with the group when it comes to a leadership role. When it comes to a management role, if you have the capability, style is less important because management is about systems and processes and not about people. Segment 3 for today. And segment 3 is completely different from segments 1 and 2. Segment 3 is about podcast style. How to develop your podcast style. The question I am asked most often here on the Inside BS show is, hey Dave, you have a unique podcasting style. How did you develop it? Well, this is show 827, so I've had 826 other attempts at the Inside BS show prior to this one. So I developed my style through repetition. I developed my style through connecting with people and having conversations. I developed my style through doing a number of shows and listening back to them and seeing what resonated with the audience and hearing what I liked best about myself in some of these shows. But podcasts are primarily a relationship building tool. It's about the relationship I'm developing with you, the person who's listening right now. And over time, I've realized that I'm a teacher, I'm an interviewer, and I am someone who shares with you what I'm thinking and feeling so that you can share with others what you're thinking and feeling. But I'm here to build a relationship with you. So I focus the time that I'm here on these solo shows, which is 6 days a week, at least 5 days a week, but 6 days a week, I focus these solo shows on you and I having a conversation. That's what I do. I'm sitting here talking to you, sharing with you what's going on in my life, and helping you think through some of the thorniest issues in your business. Now, when you're developing your podcast, and I was just speaking with a client who's putting together a podcast herself, when you're developing your podcast, these solo shows are important for you to understand how to have a conversation when you're talking to someone and they're not right in front of you. It's an asynchronous conversation. And it's important that you have a certain style and that the person who's listening feels like they're having a conversation with you. If you decide to do interviews, and we do an interview once a week, in fact, there'll be an interview here tomorrow. If you decide to do interviews, the interviews kind of highlight your ability to connect with others. The interviews are valuable in that your audience has an opportunity to hear from someone else, and they get to take advantage of someone else's expertise. And your audience gets to hear you ask the questions that they want to ask. And when I'm interviewing somebody, my goal is to ask the questions that you would ask them. So I have to anticipate kind of what you're thinking, and I have to ask the question that you would want the answer to. The most important thing when you start a podcast, if you're thinking about doing a show, the most important thing when you start a podcast is to do a lot of shows as frequently as possible and as many of them as you can do at the beginning. And you're wondering, well, first you may be wondering if you can hear it in the background, what that noise is. My big dog, Andy, is sleeping literally at my feet here. It's a rainy day here in South Florida as we're recording this. So you might be, about the podcast, you might be wondering why, Dave, is frequency important when you're first starting out in doing your podcast? Doing a lot of shows frequently at the beginning is important because that's how you get your sense of style. That's how you learn how to record and what sounds good, and you learn how not to overmodulate on the mic. In fact, if you listen just a week ago or so, I had made a mistake with setting the mixing board, and my mic is overmodulating, and I didn't realize it even 800 some odd shows in. So more frequency helps to eliminate or reduce those types of mistakes, the technical mistakes. But more frequency also helps you with your style and your voice in the podcast, and it makes you comfortable having this one-on-one conversation with the audience and having a conversation with other people. You will be amazed once you do this, if you decide to start podcasting, how much better you become as a speaker in front of a group or in front of an audience. Because listening to yourself and editing your shows will become feedback for you that you're giving to yourself, essentially, on your speaking style. And it will help you become a better speaker. All right, those are our 3 segments for the Inside BS show today. If you're watching this on YouTube, There's another video that's going to fill in right now. I want you to watch that video, and that video is all about selecting the right coach for your family business. It's really important for you to go watch that video next. So please make sure you watch that video right after you watch this one. Thank you for joining me here on this edition of the Inside BS Show. My name is Dave Lorenzo. I will be back here with you again tomorrow. Until then, here's hoping you make a great living and live a great life.